Imagine that your entire life has been a rehearsal for something bigger, a silent preparation for a calling that few can hear, but somehow resonates within you. What if there was a select group, an invisible army spread across the world, waiting for the right moment to awaken? Throughout the centuries, many traditions have spoken about the 144,000 chosen ones, a number that echoes through the pages of sacred texts, hidden prophecies, and spiritual teachings. But is this idea merely a symbolic metaphor, or is there a deeper truth behind this mystery? And most importantly, could you be part of this group? The most well-known reference to the 144,000 chosen ones appears in the Book of Revelation, in the Bible, where they are described as those who bear the seal of God on their foreheads and who at a critical moment in history will be called for a divine mission. For some, this passage is interpreted literally, suggesting that only this group will be saved during a global transformation event. For others, it is a mystical code representing awakened souls scattered around the world, connected by a special energy that transcends borders and religions. The fact is that this prophecy has never ceased to intrigue those who seek answers about the fate of humanity. But the Bible is not the only place where this number appears. In Eastern traditions, there are records that certain groups of evolved beings reincarnate periodically on Earth to guide humanity in times of great transition. The concept of bodhisattvas, in the Buddhist tradition, describes enlightened beings who renounce their own liberation to help others awaken. In some currents of Hinduism, it is believed that spiritual avatars emerge in specific cycles to restore the world's balance. Could the 144,000 be a modern manifestation of this concept? If so, how would these individuals be recognized? Numerology also gives us intriguing clues about the meaning of this number. The 144 is seen as a power number, representing balance and spiritual elevation. It is formed by the multiplication of 12 times 12, which refers to the idea of completeness and cosmic cycles. Interestingly, in many ancient cultures, the number 12 has a special meaning. 12 apostles, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 zodiac signs, 12 knights of the Round Table. And by multiplying it by itself, we have a number that symbolizes a new level of consciousness. Could this indicate that the 144,000 chosen are not a fixed group, but a dynamic collective of evolving souls? The implications of this mystery are immense. If these individuals truly exist, what would be their purpose? For some esoteric scholars, the 144,000 represent a group of awakened individuals who, upon reaching a high level of consciousness, can aid in the ascension of all humanity. In other words, the awakening of a few would stimulate the awakening of many. This concept aligns with the 100th monkey theory, which suggests that when a certain number of individuals develop a new skill or perception, this consciousness automatically spreads to the rest of the population. Could we be on the brink of such a shift? But if this prophecy truly refers to a spiritual mission, how can one know if they are one of the chosen? There are accounts of people around the world who claim to feel a deep calling, an inexplicable desire to seek knowledge, help others, and connect with something greater than themselves. Some describe frequent synchronicities, such as repeatedly seeing the number 144 on signs, clocks, or important documents. Others speak of intense dreams, spiritual encounters, and a constant feeling that there is something beyond ordinary reality waiting to be revealed. This concept not only stirs the imagination, but also raises questions about the role these individuals would play in modern society. If the chosen ones truly exist, are they being discreetly prepared for a major event? And even more, could there be a secret fraternity guiding this preparation? Hidden societies like the Rosicrucians, Freemasonry, and the Illuminati have been associated with deep secrets and knowledge reserved for a few. Some of these orders claim to preserve teachings that could change the world if they were revealed to the public. And what if the true purpose of these fraternities was to identify and train the 144,000? Historical records show that over the centuries, certain groups have maintained advanced spiritual practices away from the public eye, transmitting knowledge from generation to generation only to those deemed ready. Many spiritual leaders and influential figures in history have been associated with secret societies, from medieval alchemists to Enlightenment scientists and philosophers. This raises an intriguing question. What if the 144,000 chosen ones were already being activated without the majority of people noticing? The modern world is full of distractions, and this may be intentional. Some spiritual researchers suggest that there are opposing forces trying to prevent the awakening of these individuals. The manipulation of information, the culture of fear, and the alienation promoted by certain social systems may be part of a larger game to keep humanity asleep. But if the prophecy is correct, these efforts will be futile, as the moment of awakening has already begun. And those who have been called feel this in their souls. However, the big question still remains. Who is really behind this preparation? Is there a hidden fraternity coordinating this process? If so, what would be their methods and goals? And most importantly, how can we recognize their presence in today's world? These are questions that lead us to Part 2, where we will explore the secret fraternities and the guardians of lost wisdom. Do these mysterious orders hold the knowledge that can change the fate of humanity? The answer may be closer than we think. If there is a group of chosen ones being prepared for a great awakening, then an inevitable question arises. Who is behind this process? Is this preparation happening spontaneously, or is there a hidden fraternity that guides and instructs those who are ready to receive the necessary knowledge? The history of humanity is filled with accounts of secret societies, groups that, since time immemorial, have preserved forbidden knowledge, protecting secrets capable of transforming human consciousness. But who are these orders? And more importantly, what is their true objective? Reports about secret fraternities appear in practically every civilization. From ancient Egypt to modern times, there are records of groups that conveyed teachings only to those who were worthy and prepared to receive them. The ancient Egyptian priests, for example, were known to master knowledge about astronomy, mathematics, alchemy, and spirituality, but this information was not accessible to the general public. Only the initiated, after rigorous trials, could comprehend the mysteries of the universe. This concept was repeated over the centuries, with the establishment of different societies that claimed to hold hidden secrets, passing them from generation to generation. Among the most well-known are the Rosicrucians, a mystical fraternity that emerged in Europe during the 17th century, but is supposedly rooted much further back in history. It is said that its members possessed advanced knowledge about spirituality, alchemy, and the nature of reality. They believed that humanity could reach a higher level of consciousness, and that this knowledge should be protected from the ignorant and those who would use it for evil. Some scholars suggest that the 144,000 chosen ones may somehow be linked to the mission of the Rosicrucians, to awaken humanity to a new age of enlightenment. Another fraternity shrouded in mystery is Freemasonry, which traces its origins back to the ancient temple builders of the Middle Ages. With symbols such as the square and the compass, the Freemasons came to represent something far beyond physical architecture, the construction of the human mind and spirit. Entry into Freemasonry is achieved through an initiation process that involves tests, symbolic teachings, and a deep commitment to values such as the pursuit of knowledge and moral improvement. For some, Freemasonry is just a philanthropic and philosophical group, but for others, it is the guardian of ancient secrets that may be directly linked to the 144,000 chosen ones. But the secret society that most sparks speculation and theories is, undoubtedly, the Illuminati. This name is shrouded in controversy, associated both with an alleged elite seeking to dominate the world and a group of enlightened thinkers fighting against ignorance. The historical version points out that the Bavarian Illuminati, founded in the 18th century, had a mission to combat superstition and promote reason and knowledge. However, there are theories suggesting that this organization never disappeared, and may be linked to a spiritual elite shaping the destiny of humanity. If this is true, could the 144,000 chosen ones be part of an even bigger plan, led by one of these hidden fraternities? And we cannot forget about the Eastern esoteric orders. In Tibet, tradition speaks of the masters of the Great White Brotherhood, enlightened beings who live in secret places and who act as guardians of humanity's spiritual destiny. Some believe that these masters are monitoring the awakened and sending signals to guide them on the path to true knowledge. Some people who have had mystical experiences report dreams or visions of hidden temples, where they are taught by unknown sages. Could these masters be the true guides of the chosen ones? Regardless of the fraternity, there is a clear standard in all of them. Knowledge cannot be given indiscriminately. One must be ready to receive it. And this is one of the reasons why these groups keep their secrets so well guarded. True knowledge cannot be merely learned. It needs to be experienced. That's why, throughout history, these orders have developed initiation rituals, which not only tested the candidate's willingness, but also prepared their mind and spirit to access truths that could be disturbing for those who were not yet ready. But there's something even more intriguing. Some of these secret societies have initiation degrees, where the initiate levels up as they demonstrate understanding and spiritual growth. Could this indicate that the 144,000 chosen ones go through a similar process without most people noticing? Perhaps the spiritual awakening of these souls doesn't occur instantly, but gradually, as they show they are ready to deal with deeper truths about reality. If there truly is a plan underway to prepare these chosen ones, the question that arises is, how does this selection occur? The signs are already everywhere, but is there a process to identify those who possess the necessary energy to participate in this mission? Some esoteric beliefs claim that certain souls come into the world with specific energetic codes, and that these codes can be activated when they come into contact with certain knowledge or life experiences. This process would be a form of spiritual screening, where only the most prepared would be able to move forward. But there is another side to this story. If there are groups working to awaken the chosen ones, there could also be forces trying to prevent this process. Many of the great secret societies have been persecuted throughout history, their members hunted, silenced, and their practices forbidden. This raises an important question. Is there a hidden conflict happening behind the scenes? Some people believe so, and that this spiritual war could determine the future of humanity. If the 144,000 chosen ones are indeed being prepared, how can we know if we are part of this group? Are there clear signs indicating this calling? And more than that, how can we prepare ourselves for this mission? That's what we'll explore in Part 3, where we'll dive into the signs and symptoms of the so-called spiritual calling. Could you be one of the chosen ones? The answer may be closer than you think. And what if you were one of the 144,000 chosen ones and simply hadn't realized it yet? How would you know if you're part of this select group, destined for a spiritual mission of cosmic proportions? If this prophecy is true and there's a hidden fraternity preparing certain individuals for a great awakening, then there must be clear signs and symptoms indicating this call. But these signs aren't always obvious and often emerge in subtle ways, challenging our perception and our understanding of reality. Throughout history, mystics, shamans, initiates, and spiritual seekers have reported experiences suggesting a profound awakening. In many cases, this awakening does not occur suddenly, but rather through seemingly disconnected minor events, synchronicities, numerical patterns, vivid dreams, and an unexplainable feeling that there is something larger at play. If you feel that your life has been guided by an unseen purpose, it may be that you are already on the path of awakening. One of the first and most common signs of the so-called calling is the persistent feeling that you do not belong to this world in the same way as other people. Since childhood, many awakened individuals report a kind of disconnection from the environment around them. This is not about social alienation, but rather a deep feeling that there is something wrong with the way society operates. Have you ever felt that the world around you seems programmed, as if people are living in some kind of illusion and only you can perceive it? This feeling could be the beginning of your awakening. Another important clue is synchronicities. Carl Jung, the famous psychoanalyst, described this phenomenon as meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by chance alone. People who are awakening often start to notice numerical patterns like 144, 1111, 333, and other repeated numbers, constantly appearing on clocks, signs, receipts, and unexpected places. To some, this may seem irrelevant, but for those who are attentive, these numbers serve as coded messages from the universe, indicating that they are on the right path. And so we have dreams and visions. Many people undergoing the awakening process report unusual and intense dreams, in which they feel they are being trained or instructed by mysterious figures. Some dream of temples, sacred symbols, bright lights, or even encounters with spiritual beings. These dreams can bring important messages, insights into life, and even premonitions. But what's most fascinating is that some of these experiences don't occur only during sleep. There are reports of people who feel invisible presences or have fleeting glimpses of a reality different from the ordinary. Another powerful sign is the expansion of intuition. The awakened begin to feel emotions and energies around them much more intensely. Intuition becomes an internal compass, helping to distinguish people, situations, and paths that align with their mission. In many cases, this sensitivity also translates into extreme empathy, the ability to feel and absorb the emotions of others. This can be a great challenge, as without control, it can lead to emotional burnout. However, this gift can also be an indicator that you are part of the 144,000, as feeling deeply is an essential characteristic of those who came to help humanity. Spiritual awakening often also brings about physical changes. Some people report a sudden increase in sensitivity to food, lights, sounds, and even other people's emotions. The body's vibration may change, and certain habits that once seemed normal can become unsustainable. This happens because the spiritual elevation process recalibrates the human being's energy frequency, requiring an adaptation of the physical body. Sudden changes in diet, an increased need to spend time in nature, and a desire to distance oneself from environments laden with negative energy are common indicators of this transition. But perhaps the most powerful sign is the internal call. This is a feeling that's hard to describe, but impossible to ignore. Many awakened individuals report an unexplainable desire to seek knowledge, evolve spiritually, and help others. It's not just a fleeting curiosity, but rather a deep drive that leads them to explore topics such as meditation, energy healing, metaphysics, spirituality, and ancient mysteries. It's as if something within them is constantly whispering, "There's more. Keep searching." If you've ever felt this, you might be part of this special group. But just as there are signs that indicate the call, there are also challenges. Many of those who are awakening face periods of crisis and confusion. The material world seems to lose its meaning, and old ambitions cease to be important. This is a delicate moment, as awakening can be both liberating and lonely. People around you may not understand what is happening to you, and this can generate feelings of isolation. However, this is a natural process. As you align with your true mission, your frequency changes, and new connections emerge in your life. The question that remains is, do all the awakened ones belong to the 144,000 chosen? This is a complex issue. Some traditions claim that the 144,000 represent a literal number, a specific group that is predestined to guide humanity. Others believe that the number is symbolic and represents a much larger collective of awakened souls working together to raise the planet's vibration. Regardless of the interpretation, there is a common point. Those who feel the call need to prepare. And this leads us to the next question. Is there a plan underway to gather these people? If secret fraternities really exist and are conducting this process, how do they identify those who are ready? And most importantly, how are these chosen ones being trained and prepared for the mission? These are the questions we will explore in Part 4. The Grand Scheme. How are the chosen ones being prepared? What is really happening behind the scenes? Who is behind this invisible training? And how can you prepare for what is to come? If the 144,000 chosen ones truly exist, then an inevitable question arises. How are they being prepared for their mission? Does this preparation occur spontaneously through life experiences and spiritual awakening? Or is there a more elaborate plan, led by invisible forces working behind the scenes? Throughout history, various mystical traditions suggest that significant spiritual transitions never happen by chance. They are orchestrated by a higher intelligence, which can manifest in various ways, be it through spiritual guides, hidden masters, or secret fraternities that preserve the necessary knowledge for this transformation. If there is a plan to activate these chosen ones, then it must follow a set of rules, stages, and initiations. The first fundamental element of this grand plan is the gradual activation of consciousness. The chosen ones usually go through a life period where they feel completely asleep, living in the material world, following common social norms, often without any notion of their true mission. However, at some point something happens. This trigger could come through a traumatic event, a near-death experience, a deep existential crisis, or even contact with information that completely changes their perception of reality. This initial awakening serves as the first key for the individual to start questioning the world around them. After this initial activation, the chosen ones begin to go through an intense period of learning. They feel compelled to seek knowledge. They explore different spiritual traditions, study occultism, philosophy, quantum physics, meditation, and everything else that can broaden their understanding of existence. But this search does not happen by chance. Some feel they are mysteriously guided to certain books, people, or teachings at the exact right moment, as if an invisible intelligence were placing the necessary tools for their evolution right in front of them. Here comes one of the most fascinating aspects of the grand plan, the connection with the planet's spiritual energy lines. Since time immemorial, ancient civilizations have built monuments and temples in specific locations where the energy was most intense. Places like Stonehenge, the pyramids of Egypt, Machu Picchu, and many other ancient structures seem to be aligned with specific cosmic frequencies. Some researchers suggest that the 144,000 chosen ones have a special energy bond with these networks, and that by visiting these places or even coming into contact with their vibrations, their spiritual activation significantly accelerates. But there's something even more intriguing: the role of secret fraternities in this preparation process. If there is a group of beings working to train these individuals, how do they do it? There are hints that certain teachings are passed on indirectly, through symbols, coded messages, and even the media. Movies, books, and music often carry information that can only be perceived by those who are ready to understand them. For most people, they are just stories or entertainment. But for the awakened, these messages act as hidden keys that unlock internal memories and activations. Furthermore, there are discrete societies that may be monitoring the awakened. Some theories suggest that certain esoteric orders have ways of identifying those who carry the frequency of 144,000. This could be done through energy tests, behavior analysis, thought patterns, or even by the person's own vibrational field. Those who demonstrate a high level of consciousness may, without realizing it, be observed and even discreetly recruited for deeper training. But this preparation is not just intellectual, it also involves challenges and trials. Many of those who go through spiritual awakening face periods of great emotional and psychological turbulence. This is a fundamental test, for before they can help humanity, the chosen ones need to learn to deal with their own shadows. In various initiatory traditions, candidates went through symbolic rituals of death and rebirth, representing the destruction of the old self and the birth of a new identity. Something similar happens with the awakened ones of modern times. They need to face their fears, overcome traumas, and free themselves from the illusions of the material world. Another essential aspect of the grand plan is the gathering of the chosen ones. At some point, these souls begin to meet, whether through striking coincidences, unexpected connections, or even via the internet, which allows individuals of the same vibration to locate each other regardless of where they are in the world. This phase is crucial, as when these people come together, their collective energy amplifies, creating a vibrational field that can further accelerate the awakening of humanity. But there is a bigger challenge behind this mission: the resistance against this awakening. If the chosen ones are being prepared, it's because something very big is about to happen. However, not everyone wants this to occur. There are forces that prefer to keep humanity in a state of unconsciousness, as an awakened planet would mean the end of certain control systems. Many awakened individuals report that, upon beginning their quest for knowledge, they face unexpected difficulties, from financial and emotional problems to inexplicable energetic attacks. This could be an indication that there is an invisible battle happening behind the scenes. If this is true, then the grand plan involves not only the activation of the chosen ones, but also their protection and empowerment. Many believe that there are spiritual beings working behind the scenes to ensure that those who are part of this mission can fulfill their purpose. Intuition becomes an essential tool in this journey, as those who are guided by their inner voice can avoid traps and stay aligned with their original mission. But if all of this is real, then the big question that arises is, who is truly in charge of this process? Could it be that the awakened ones are being guided by spiritual masters, by interdimensional beings, or by a human fraternity that holds ancient knowledge? If there is a group responsible for this preparation, what are their true intentions? And that's exactly what we'll explore in Part 5. The Invisible Mentors. Who's in charge of the Brotherhood? Are these forces benevolent, or is there something hidden that we've not yet noticed? Who is really guiding the chosen 144,000? If there is a grand plan underway to prepare the 144,000 chosen ones, then an even deeper question arises. Who is really in charge of this process? Would they be highly trained human beings belonging to occult fraternities? Or are there invisible forces, spiritual entities, or superior intelligences guiding this awakening? This is a question that has intrigued scholars of the occult, mystics, and truth seekers for centuries, and the answer may be much more complex than we imagine. Since ancient times, there have been reports of invisible mentors, beings who operate behind the scenes, guiding those who are ready to receive elevated knowledge. In some traditions, these guides are referred to as ascended masters, entities that have already transcended the physical experience, but still work to assist humanity. Among the most well-known are figures like Saint Germain, Kuthumi, Moria, Serapis Bey, and other names that appear in various esoteric doctrines. These masters supposedly communicate with disciples throughout history, transmitting instructions and revelations that shape the evolution of the planet. Other spiritual currents talk about the Great White Brotherhood, a group of enlightened beings who would act as guardians of human evolution. These beings, according to some sources, have ethereal temples located in higher dimensions, accessible only to those who have reached a certain level of consciousness. But would they be responsible for the activation of the 144,000 chosen ones? If so, how does this contact occur? And why do some people seem to be guided so precisely, while others remain in unconsciousness? There are accounts of people who, throughout history, claim to have received direct messages from these masters. Some say that these communications occur through dreams, visions, or meditative experiences. Others assert that the masters operate in a more subtle way, influencing events, bringing people together, and creating situations that lead to awakening. If this is true, then the chosen ones may be being prepared without even realizing the origin of this training. But not everyone believes that these invisible mentors are spiritual entities. Some theories suggest that the 144,000 chosen ones are being monitored and guided by a human elite that has held hidden knowledge for millennia. If we look at history, we will see that influential figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, Helena Blavatsky, and other great thinkers had contact with secret societies and demonstrated an understanding far beyond their time. Could these people have been prepared by a hidden fraternity to fulfill a specific mission? An intriguing possibility is that these mentors are actually interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings, observing and intervening in the fate of humanity. This idea is not new. Ancient cultures around the world reported contact with gods, angels, and celestial beings who conveyed advanced knowledge. Some theories suggest that these visitors may have been manipulating human consciousness for centuries, guiding certain individuals to fulfill a much larger plan. But do they truly want the best for humanity? Or are they using the awakened as pawns in a cosmic game we still do not understand? Regardless of who is in charge, there is a pattern that cannot be ignored. Those who awaken are guided by a force that always takes them to the next level. This process is not random. It follows a progression, a set of events that seem planned to ensure that the person reaches the necessary state of consciousness to fulfill their mission. It could be a book that appears at the right time, an unexpected encounter with someone who brings an important message, or even a crisis that forces a profound inner transformation. And there's one more intriguing detail. The chosen ones seem to be being prepared in different areas of knowledge, as if each one had a specific role within this larger plan. Some are led to study science and technology, others dive into spirituality and self-knowledge, while some develop artistic or communication skills. It's as if each one receives a piece of the puzzle, and only when the right moment comes, all these pieces will come together to form a larger picture. But there is a challenge: resistance to awakening. If there is a force that guides the chosen ones, there are also forces that try to hinder this process. These forces can manifest in various ways, through distractions, fears, doubts, and even energetic attacks. Many people who go through the awakening report moments of strong opposition, where everything seems to go wrong and the feeling of isolation intensifies. Some believe that this is part of the final test. Only those who manage to overcome these obstacles are truly ready for their mission. If all of this is real, then the big question that arises is, what is the ultimate goal of this preparation? Are we approaching a global event where these 144,000 will play an essential role? Is there a precise moment for this revelation? This is the question we will explore in Part 6. The moment of revelation. When will the chosen ones be called? The prophecy indicates a major event, but has it already begun? Or are we just preparing for something even bigger? If there is a group of 144,000 chosen ones being prepared for a major event, the inevitable question is, when will this call occur? Are we already in the midst of this process without realizing it? Or is the true moment of revelation yet to come? To answer these questions, we need to look at the patterns that have been emerging throughout history and the prophecies that indicate a crucial moment of transition for humanity. Different spiritual traditions speak of a time when humanity will undergo a major transformation, a period of chaos and crisis, but also of awakening and renewal. In ancient texts, there are predictions about a time of tribulation in which only those who are spiritually prepared will be able to navigate the change with wisdom. This concept appears in Christian scriptures, in Eastern traditions, and even in lost civilizations, such as the Mayans and the Egyptians. But are we in that moment now? If we look at current events, we will see that there has never been a time like this. Wars, crises, climate changes, unimaginable technological advances, and an unprecedented increase in the number of people seeking spiritual awakening. Could all this be just a coincidence, Or could it be a sign that the big moment is approaching? Some theories suggest that the so-called call of the 144,000 will not happen all at once, but rather in waves. That is, individuals awaken at different times, each playing their role in preparing for the grand event. For some, this call has already begun. Many people feel that they are going through an intense internal process, as if they were being activated by an invisible force. Some experience sudden changes in their lives, moving away from old patterns, breaking off relationships that no longer resonate, and feeling an irrepressible urge to seek knowledge and transformation. And then there is the energetic and cosmic factor. If the chosen ones are truly being called, this summoning may be linked to astrological cycles and events that impact Earth's vibrational field. Many believe that planetary alignments and solar storms play a crucial role in the awakening of consciousness. During times of high energetic activity, the planet's vibration increases, making it easier for those who are ready to connect with their true mission. This could explain why so many people are awakening at the same time. Another important factor is technology. For the first time in history, we have access to information previously restricted to small hidden fraternities. Esoteric books, meditation practices, teachings from ancient traditions, everything is available for those who seek. This could be part of a larger plan, a way to ensure that the 144,000 have access to the necessary tools for their awakening. But this same technology also poses a challenge. As with information comes misinformation, and not everything that is disseminated truly leads to spiritual growth. But what exactly will happen when the chosen ones are called? There are several possibilities. Some believe that there will be a global event, a moment of great impact on collective consciousness, in which the awakened will take on a leadership role to guide humanity through the transition. Others suggest that this change will be more subtle, occurring through small internal revolutions, where the chosen ones become catalysts for a new era of consciousness. However, there is also the possibility that this call is not something external, but rather internal. In other words, no one will come knocking on your door telling you that you are one of the 144,000. The call happens within each one, like a voice that becomes impossible to ignore. Those who are part of this mission will feel, at the right time, that the time to act has come. They will know what to do, as their intuition will guide them. But there is a troubling question. What if some of the chosen ones do not answer the call? The world is full of distractions and challenges. Many awakened individuals may feel discouraged, fearful, or even doubt their own mission. Is there a plan to ensure that those who have been selected truly fulfill their purpose? Perhaps this is why so many awakened people face difficulties before finding their true path. These challenges may be tests, preparing them for the moment when they will need to demonstrate their strength. Whatever the nature of this call, one thing is certain. There is a transition underway, and humanity is at a critical juncture. The 144,000 chosen ones have an essential role in this process, but there is an even bigger question. Is this journey peaceful, or is there a hidden resistance trying to prevent this awakening? Could there be a spiritual war happening behind the scenes, and are the chosen ones in the midst of this conflict without even realizing it? That's what we'll explore in Part 7, the spiritual war, the light against opposing forces. If there is a group of awakened beings being prepared, there may be forces working against them. Could this invisible battle be shaping the fate of humanity? If there is a group of 144,000 chosen ones being prepared for a great awakening, then it is logical to assume that there are also forces trying to prevent this activation. Since time immemorial, myths and spiritual traditions speak of a cosmic conflict between light and darkness, a clash that occurs not only on the physical plane, but on the subtler levels of existence. But is this battle real? And more importantly, are the chosen ones in the midst of this spiritual war without even realizing it? To understand this invisible struggle, we need to go back to the concept of control over human consciousness. For centuries, civilizations were dominated through fear, manipulation, and the limitation of knowledge. Many empires thrived by keeping the population ignorant of their true power, imposing belief systems that discouraged questioning and the pursuit of truth. But what would happen if a large number of people awakened to their true essence? What if millions realized that they have within them the potential to create, transform, and transcend reality? This would collapse the control systems that govern the world. And it is precisely for this reason that there are forces committed to keeping humanity in a state of unconsciousness. These forces can manifest in different ways, through political systems, economic structures, distorted religious doctrines, and even mass culture, which often acts as an anesthetic to consciousness. The real danger is not just external oppression, but the way these systems induce self-sabotage, making people fear their own awakening and settle into a limited reality. But if there is a manipulation game underway, who is really in charge of this resistance? Some esoteric currents talk about interdimensional beings that feed on the vibrational energy of fear and human suffering. This idea may seem extreme, but it is interesting to note that various ancient cultures describe invisible entities that influence people's thoughts and emotions. These forces would be the true architects of the control matrix, working behind the scenes to prevent humanity from awakening to its true potential. Others believe that this resistance comes from human groups that have held hidden knowledge for centuries and use this information to maintain their position of power. If there is a secret fraternity preparing the 144,000 chosen ones, there might also be a rival order trying to block this process. Throughout history, we see how certain groups were systematically persecuted and eliminated when they tried to bring forth forbidden knowledge. The Cathars, the Templars, the Sufi mystics, and so many others were destroyed for challenging established structures. But perhaps the most insidious form of this spiritual war is the internal battle that takes place within each chosen one. One of the main challenges of awakening is dealing with the conflict between the emerging new consciousness and old patterns of thought. Many people who feel the call face periods of doubt, fear, and confusion, and this is no coincidence. There is a subtle energy attack that tries to divert the awakened from their path, throwing emotional, social, and even financial obstacles in their way. The fear of not being accepted, the apprehension of change, and the feeling of loneliness are some of the weapons used in this war. If the 144,000 chosen ones truly exist, then they must be prepared for this confrontation. And the best way to protect oneself is not through external struggle, but through internal strengthening. This means learning to discern the energies around, maintaining a high vibration, and most importantly, not succumbing to fear. Awareness is the greatest defense tool. Those who understand how this battle operates can neutralize its influences and keep moving forward. But there's an important detail. If there are forces trying to prevent this awakening, it means that the crucial moment is near. Nobody tries to stop something without a reason. The fact that so many people around the world are facing intense challenges might be a sign that the great transition is accelerating and the chosen ones are about to fulfill their mission. The question that arises is, what happens after the battle? If the 144,000 manage to resist and fulfill their purpose, what will be the next stage of humanity? Are we heading towards a new world, a completely different civilization, based on higher principles? That's exactly what we'll explore in Part 8. The New Earth, the world after transformation. If the chosen ones are successful, what can we expect from the future? What will this new world look like? Are we ready for this change? If the 144,000 chosen ones have indeed been prepared for a mission, the inevitable question is, what happens next? What will become of humanity when these individuals fulfill their role? Are we on the brink of a global transformation? The concept of a new earth appears in various spiritual and prophetic traditions, suggesting that, after a period of chaos and transition, humanity will enter a new era of consciousness, where higher values will replace the old structures. But how would this happen? And are we truly ready for this change? The first fundamental point to understand is that this transition will not only be external, but also internal. Many people hope for a miraculous event to instantly transform the planet, but the truth is that humanity's awakening happens gradually, as more and more individuals raise their vibration and begin to manifest a new reality. The chosen 144,000 would be the catalysts of this process, acting as points of light that inspire and guide others towards transformation. One of the most evident signs of this change is the deconstruction of the old power structures. Today, we see governments, religions, corporations, and control systems facing unprecedented crises. Many of these institutions were built on fear, scarcity, and manipulation, but these pillars can no longer support an awakened humanity. The collapse of these structures does not mean destruction, but rather a realignment, where new models of social and spiritual organization will emerge to replace the old ones. This new earth will be characterized by a new understanding of reality. People will begin to realize that the external world is a reflection of their inner state, and this will radically change the way society operates. Wars, conflicts, and divisions will no longer have a place in a world where collective consciousness moves towards love and cooperation. This might seem utopian, but think, if a sufficient number of people elevate their vibration and adopt a new way of thinking, the planet's own energy field will change. One of the most fascinating aspects of this transition is the quantum leap in technology and knowledge. For centuries, revolutionary inventions were suppressed or discredited because they threatened the interests of those who controlled power systems. But as humanity awakens, new discoveries will come to light, clean and sustainable technologies will be implemented, and energy healing methods will replace many of the invasive treatments of traditional medicine. The human relationship with science and spirituality will profoundly change, as it will finally be recognized that both are interconnected. Another essential point will be the change in perception of time and reality. Many awakened individuals already report feeling as if time is accelerating, as if something is altering the way we experience existence. This sensation may be linked to an increase in the planet's vibrational frequency, something also mentioned by scientists studying Schumann's resonance, the Earth's electromagnetic pulsations. As this vibration increases, humans begin to operate on a more intuitive level, where the manifestation of reality becomes almost instantaneous. That is, thoughts and intentions will have an increasingly direct impact on the creation of each person's experience. The transition to this new earth does not mean that everyone will automatically align with this new consciousness. There will be those who resist change, who remain stuck in old patterns, and who are not ready for this new reality. However, this resistance will not halt the process. In various spiritual traditions, there is talk of an energetic division of humanity. Those who choose to awaken will move to a new frequency of existence, while others will remain trapped in learning cycles until they are ready to advance. And here arises the most important question. What exactly will the 144,000 chosen ones do in this new era? If their mission was to prepare humanity for this transition, what will be their role after this transformation is underway? The answer may lie in the idea that they are not just guides, but also architects of this new reality. Each of them carries an aspect of knowledge that will be essential in shaping this new world, whether in the areas of spirituality, technology, art, science, or collective consciousness. But this transition will not be without challenges. Even after the change, there will be a period of adaptation, where people will need to learn to live in a world with new paradigms. Many will need help to understand and integrate this new consciousness, and this is where the chosen ones will continue to play a crucial role. They will be the ones who will teach others to operate within this new reality, helping to create a system based on truth, harmony, and spiritual evolution. The central point of this transformation is that humanity is not destined for collapse, but rather for ascension. Although we may be going through tough times now, these challenges are part of a necessary process of purification and realignment. The old must crumble for the new to emerge. And those who feel the call within themselves know that this is just the beginning of an even greater journey. But now a fundamental question arises: how can each of us prepare for this transition? If we are truly heading towards this new era, what can we do now to ensure that we are ready for this change? Are there practices, knowledge, and attitudes that can help us tune into this new frequency? These are the questions we will explore in Part 9, How to Prepare for the Call, the Path of Enlightenment. If you feel that you are part of this movement, it's time to discover how to align with your mission and activate your true potential. If the 144,000 chosen ones are indeed being called upon to play a crucial role in the transformation of humanity, then the essential question arises: how should one prepare for this calling? The transition to a new state of consciousness does not happen automatically. It requires intention, discipline, and a profound commitment to spiritual awakening. But what are the practices and knowledge that can accelerate this process? And more importantly, how can you know if you are ready to fulfill your mission? The first fundamental stage of the path to enlightenment is the expansion of consciousness. This means breaking away from the mental programming that has been imposed by society and beginning to see reality from a new perspective. Many people spend their entire lives trapped by limiting beliefs, fears, and conditioning that prevent them from accessing their true potential. The first step to preparation is to question everything, from the narratives we have been taught to the way we perceive ourselves and the world. But this quest for truth cannot be merely intellectual, it must be experienced. The practice of meditation is one of the most powerful tools to align oneself with the spiritual calling. When you quiet the mind and connect with your essence, you begin to receive insights and guidance that come from a deeper level of your being. Many awakened individuals report that, upon adopting meditation as a daily practice, they start to experience more frequent synchronicities and a more intense connection with their intuition. Beyond meditation, vibrational elevation is an essential aspect of preparation. A person's energy frequency determines their ability to access higher levels of consciousness. There are several ways to increase this vibration, including mindful eating, reducing the consumption of processed and toxic foods, favoring natural and high-vibration foods instead. There's connection with nature. The earth has an energetic field that can help recalibrate our body and mind. Walking barefoot, being near water, and breathing fresh air help to clear dense energies. Avoiding negative influences. What we consume in the form of information, entertainment, and even the people we interact with directly affects our vibrational field. Another crucial aspect of preparation is developing intuition. The chosen ones need to trust their inner voice, as it is through it that many of the guidelines are received. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by distractions and external noise, learning to listen and interpret intuition can be a significant challenge. However, the more we connect with this internal compass, the more easily we can perceive the signs that guide us on the right path. But preparation for the calling is not limited only to the individual level. Connection with other awakened ones is also crucial. As we mentioned earlier, the chosen ones do not work alone. Each of them carries a fragment of the knowledge necessary for the construction of the new earth, and only together can they manifest this reality. Finding people who share this mission, exchanging experiences and building support networks can exponentially accelerate the awakening process. And then one of the deepest questions of this journey arises. What is the true purpose of this mission? Why were these 144,000 individuals chosen? The answer may lie in the concept of service to humanity. True awakening is not just about achieving personal enlightenment, but rather using this knowledge to help others awaken as well. The chosen ones are not here just to evolve individually. They have the mission to guide, teach, and assist those who are still trapped in illusion. This leads us to one of the most difficult challenges on the spiritual path, the test of the ego. As one awakens and gains access to higher levels of understanding, the danger of spiritual arrogance emerges, the belief that one is above others, that one is special or superior. This is one of the greatest obstacles that the chosen ones face, for their true strength does not come from power over others, but from humility and service. True enlightenment is not about being better than others, but about understanding that everyone is part of the same journey, and that each person awakens in their own time. Another fundamental aspect of preparation is the detachment from fear. Fear is the greatest weapon used to keep people bound to illusion. Fear of scarcity, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are the emotions that prevent the awakened from assuming their true role. One of the great lessons on the path to enlightenment is that fear is merely an illusion created by the mind. When one learns to trust in the flow of life and in their own mission, fear loses its power and gives way to true spiritual freedom. But perhaps the greatest lesson of this journey is to understand that awakening is not a destination, but a continual process. There is no end point, no moment where someone can say, "I've arrived." Evolution is eternal, and even the most spiritually advanced continue to learn, grow, and expand their consciousness. The true chosen one is the one who understands that there is always more to discover, always more to learn, and that the path to enlightenment is infinite. So, the big final question is, what now? What to do from here on out? If you feel that you are part of this mission, if the words of this script resonated with something deep within you, then it means that the call has already begun. The next step is to follow this call with courage, commitment, and love. The 144,000 chosen ones are not those who passively wait for a major event. They are those who create the event. They are the ones who bring change to the world through their actions, their awareness, and their commitment to the truth. And now, the most important question: are you ready to assume your role? Mind Unfettered, now I want to hear from you. If you feel that this call has resonated within you, share in the comments. Have you noticed any signs of awakening? Any inexplicable synchronicity that seems to indicate that you might be part of this movement? Your experience could inspire others and help build this connection among the chosen ones. Let's manifest this transformation together. And if you think this journey ends here, think again. What's really behind these hidden fraternities? How do Jesus and the Illuminati connect in this story that nobody wants you to discover? There's a secret that could change everything. Click now on the next video, The Illuminati and Jesus, the hidden truth no one wants you to know. That's already on your screen, and let's continue this deep investigation. See you there.